Okay, the question that we have here is that someone came up to me today and said that we had a question where x is somewhere on the number line. And we don't know exactly where x is on the number line. We do know that we can call this distance here a, and we can call the other distance on the number line that we don't know what it is yet, b. And he wanted to know how he could solve this problem algebraically. He solved it just putting in different numbers and trying to get a good equal distance, but he wanted to know how could he solve this using algebra. So, what did the question tell us? Because it has to give us more information than that. It told us that this distance b is 5 times as large as the distance a. That means we'd need 5 lots of a to get exactly the same distance as b. So that's the first thing we know about our equation. But what can we say about this number a? Well, we've got x here. So we actually know that the number of a is the same as x minus 25. And we also know that the number b here, we would get b by taking x away from 55. So we also have a number for b here, 55 minus x. So if we know that a is x minus 25, we can put that into our equation here. So we get 5 lots of x minus 25 equals 55 minus x. It equals b. So we're just substituting here. Here's our value of a, we're putting it in there. Here's our value of b, we're putting it in there. And now we just solve the equation. How do we solve equations? Well, the first thing we have to do when we have an equation with brackets in is we have to multiply the brackets out when we're trying to solve the equation. So we have to multiply this 5 by everything that's inside those brackets. The first thing we do is we multiply the 5 by the x. 5 times x will give us 5 lots of x. I've now multiplied the 5 by the x. I now have to multiply the 5 by the next number in the bracket. And the next number in the bracket is minus 25. This gives me 5 times minus 25, giving me minus 125. So I've multiplied my brackets through. I haven't done anything on this side of the equation, so I carry on and leave it the same. I now have 55x minus 125 equals 55 minus x. I now have one equation and one unknown, so it's easy to solve. What do? Well, one step at a time. I want all my x's on my left-hand side of the equal sign and all my numbers on the right-hand side of the equal sign. So the first thing I'll do is I will try and get rid of this minus x here. How can I do that? If I add 1x to each side, I will be able to get rid of the minus x here. So my first step would be to take 5x minus 125 plus 1x equals 55 minus x plus 1x. I've just added x to both sides of the equation. I'm allowed to do whatever I want as long as I do the same thing to both sides of my equal sign. I then get 55x plus x on this side, giving me 6x minus 125 equals, and here, plus x minus x minus x is going to give me 0. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get rid of the minus x here on this side of the equation, giving me then 55. I now know that 6x minus 125 is 55. I want to get this 125 to the other side of the equal sign. So I do that by adding 125 to both sides. The one I want to get rid of, I either add or subtract or multiply or divide to make sure that I turn that number into either 0 or 1. So 6x minus 125 plus 125 to both sides equals 55 plus 125. Look, 125 minus 125 gives me that 0 that I'm looking for. So I now know that I have 6x equals 125 plus 55 is 180. I know what 6 lots of x is. Is the question asking me what 6 lots of x is? No, it's telling me to find out what 1 lot of x is. So to get 1 lot of x, I can divide both sides of my... Oh, I should write it here. Sorry. Trying to teach you a structured way. divide both sides by 6. When it's multiply and divide, we're not trying to get a 0, we're trying to get a 1. I don't want to know what 6 lots of x are, I want to know what 1 lot of x is. So I divide both the sides of my equation by 6 equals 180 divided by 6. I then cancel my 6 here, giving me 6 divided by 6 is 1. So I now know that 1 lot of x is 180 divided by 6. 6 is into 18 3 times, 6 is into 0, 0. So x is 30. So I think that x is 30, solving it algebraically. Am I finished? No, definitely not. I think that x is 30, but if I'm going to be 100% sure that I've done the right thing, I now have to check it. If x is 30, the distance from 25 to 30 would be 5. 30 minus 25 would give me 5. The distance from 55 to 30, 55 minus 30 would be 25. Is 5 a fifth of 25? Yes, it is. So my check has told me that I've done everything right in my equation. Okay? That's how you would solve that.